Just give everybody a second to join. Six in the waiting room, so I'm just waiting for six to pop up and then I'll get started. All right. Excellent. We are so happy to see you all on this Friday. Hope you've had a good Friday so far. Hope you have a great weekend after this. My name is Antonio Gomez. I work for the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support, or ICSPS for short. We're based out of Illinois State University. I will be your moderator and technical support. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me in the chat. You should have chat enabled to be able to talk to everyone. If you have any questions about that, you can also raise your hand. We can give you some help. Please hold all questions until the Q&A portions of the webinar. Or if you do have a question, I mean, we've got a few less attendees now, so we can make it a little bit more personable. If you do have a question, just put it in the chat, or if you want to use the Q&A function, or if you want to raise your hand, whichever one's most comfortable for you, I'll make sure to bring it to Jen's attention. And we can address all of your questions. So whichever way is most comfortable for you. If you don't know how to use the Q&A portion, it should be at the bottom of your screen, one of the little options. If it doesn't appear for that immediately, like if you're on your phone, you should be able to see three little dots, and that'll give you the Q&A function as well. And that'll be the same for the chat. We will be offering closed captioning for this webinar. So if you would like that, you can go ahead and turn it on. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on for everybody as well right now. And we will also be recording this webinar, and it will be available afterwards on WorkNet. I think that is all for me. Jen, I think I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you.
Thank you, Antonio. And we have just so few people attending, so I do not mind for you all to, at any time, to interrupt or put a comment or question in the chat or use a Q&A, raise your hand. Anytime during the presentation is fine with me. So we'll go ahead and get started. So those who don't know me, I'm Jennifer Foyle. Although I work for Northern Illinois University, we do have an intergovernmental agreement with the Illinois Department of Commerce. So I support the Department of Commerce with their apprenticeship expansion efforts, and also I work with Antonio supporting the state's workforce board's work-based learning and apprenticeship committee. So today I'm going to go over this craft apprenticeship program, notice of funding opportunity, which is what we call a NOFO. This is a FEJA, so I'll get into that in a minute. So for those, just to make sure you're in the right webinar, we're going over this one. All right, so today we're going to go just a little bit overview of FEJA, what the program can do and how the program design is, and any technical grant requirements. Again, please raise your hand or put something in the chat, or even come off mute if you'd like to ask a question. Oops, sorry, I'm having technical difficulty at the moment. Okay, there we go. So this NOFO is to identify the organization, and I just kind of want to bring that up. This grant will be awarded to one organization. So we've put this NOFO out statewide for a Future Energy Jobs Act craft apprenticeship program. So this program will provide training and establish apprenticeships in the electric industry. It does have a very big focus on solar, but it's not limited to solar. We're looking at clean energy with this NOFO. The FEJA, the Future Energy Jobs Act, was created to stimulate job growth in the clean energy economy. So there's investments with clean energy, with energy efficiency and renewable energy. And the FEJA program, there's actually 3 different programs this act is funding. There's a solar or workforce development programs. There's a solar pipeline training program. That NOFO is not out yet. However, we're hoping to get it out soon. The craft apprenticeship program, which we're talking about today, and then the multicultural job training program. So 3 different workforce development programs were created from this act. The administration of the programs authorized under FEJA were assigned to DCO, to the Department of Commerce, back in 2022. by the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. So a lot of times we hear FEJA, so FEJA and FEJA very much aligned. So, like I said, this NOFO is very much focused on supporting the solar and electric industry. So it's designed to support employment in the electric industry, including electricians and electric line installers and repairers throughout the state. This is the solar electricity sector. That area is expected to see significant growth. It did have significant growth just between 2015 and 2020 from a report by the Renewable Energy Council. They say that we're part of the top 10 states nationally for solar energy job growth, according to this report. I know that our state has made an investment through FEJA and CEJA more so than most states, and it's something that we've put a priority on that also focuses on helping equitable access to these jobs. We're having great job growth. We'd like these jobs to be available for all. So apprenticeship in context of the state workforce goals. Apprenticeship, it's been the Apprenticeship Committee by the IWIP was created back in 2016, and apprenticeship has been part of the state workforce goals front and center ever since then. Definitely with the Apprenticeship Committee and along with all of the different apprenticeship funding that we've had, it has it's really taken, I would say, a greater turn since 2016 with all of these different state investments and federal investments. So we're aligning this NOFO along with the State Unified Plan, this Apprenticeship Committee, and forgive me, I did not change the name of the Apprenticeship Committee, which just recently changed. It's now the IWIB Work-Based Learning and Apprenticeship Committee. It's also front and center for the Governor's Action Agenda. It's part of FEJA and CEJA, and also the Governor's 5-year Economic Development Plan. Apprenticeship is, it's been determined that we've identified this model as such a great training model for career seekers as well as employers. It helps career seekers get into the door with work-based learning and be paid while they're learning a trade, but it also helps employers with retention and filling their workforce needs. So this funding opportunity is available to either public or private organizations. Strong proposals will demonstrate a solid understanding of the state's overarching workforce strategies and goals. If you can go on Illinois. If you don't know these goals, like the State Unified Plan is on Illinois WorkNet, you could just Google Illinois State Unified Plan. The Apprenticeship Committee has a 5-year apprenticeship plan, and then also the Governor's Economic Development 5-year plan. All of these are online and available for you if you'd like to look them up. We've combined federal and state resources, so it means greater flexibility in apprenticeship expansion. Sometimes when we just use WIOA dollars, then we're kind of limited to exactly how we can use that funding in apprenticeship, but this is a little bit more flexible. Program description. What we're looking for the organization that's going to receive this grant, we would like them to develop and support career pathways in the electric and or solar industry. If you're looking for more information on career pathways, you can, and this is in the NOFO as well, these resources are in the NOFO. You can look up the Illinois Career Pathways Dictionary, and it gives a great understanding and definition for career pathways, as well as any of the FEJA and CEJA web pages that provide plenty of resources on these. We would also like you to provide training on the requisite knowledge, skills, experience, and competencies to design, install, inspect, and or service electric and or solar equipment and or systems. We'd like you to provide apprenticeship participants with the foundational knowledge that they're going to need to be successful in a career in the electric industry, including but not limited to solar industry. We keep saying that, but provide diverse, low-income, or economically disadvantaged populations with additional craft apprenticeship opportunities. And also, we'd like you to develop, coordinate, and implement training activities that result in registered apprenticeships, pre-apprenticeships, and youth apprenticeships. Again, these are defined in the Illinois Career Pathway Dictionary. Our target program participants is very much aligned with the FEJA priority participants. So we're looking for the grantee to serve equity investment eligible persons, individuals who face barriers to employment, such as low educational attainment, low levels of literacy, low income, any language barriers. Also individuals from environmental justice communities, and you can find those communities on this website. And also any displaced energy workers, and those are defined by Public Act 102-662. Target industry. It's the electric industry. The grantee will coordinate a statewide program that will provide individuals with training and employment opportunities in the electric industry. The successful applicant must demonstrate that they have direct connection to the electric industry in Illinois. Program partners. So for a competitive application, you will have either MOUs or written agreements with partners that you list in your application. If you enter into a partnership agreement with training providers, then we ask that you include the details of the training program as well, including length, location, class size, costs, and other important information. We can't stress enough how important it is to have letters of commitment, written agreements, MOUs with your partners. It makes for a stronger application for sure. So what we're looking for through this grant is for the grantee to develop and coordinate and support registered apprenticeships. So when we say registered apprenticeships, we mean those that are registered with the U.S. Department of Labor. Develop and coordinate and support pre-apprenticeships. You'll see later we're going to talk about that we want quality pre-apprenticeships. And just by definition, pre-apprenticeships means you're getting people ready for apprenticeships. So it means that you have some kind of direct link to a registered apprenticeship program for them to enter should they so choose, and if they're chosen. And also to develop and support career pathways into the electric industry. So it's 3 different types of training: registered apprenticeship, pre-apprenticeship, and career pathways. So registered apprenticeship, for the U.S. Department of Labor to recognize a registered apprenticeship, it has these 7 elements. So we used to say, a long time ago, USDOL, there were 5 elements to a registered apprenticeship. Well, now there's 7. There actually nothing changed. It's just we broke some out, or they broke some out into a couple of different things. So registered apprenticeships are industry-led. So it means there's employers. If the apprentice is not employed by an employer, then it's not an apprenticeship. So we don't have, without an employer, there is not an apprenticeship. So it must be industry-led, employer-led. These apprentices are paid for their work. So they have, like over here, it says structured on-the-job learning. That structured on-the-job learning, they're paid during that structured on-the-job learning. And it's not just that they're on the job and they get to kind of learn, it's structured. It means that when the program was designed, it was designed specifically with how they're going to, what they should be learning as they're progressing during their apprenticeship program on the job. It will also have supplemental education. At one point, USDOL used, and it sometimes they still do, they use it interchangeably. They might call it RTI, the related technical instruction. Now it seems that they're leaning towards the word supplemental education. It's the same thing. It helps give like the theory to the practice. So you have that classroom training along with the structured on the job. And they complement each other. Equal employment opportunity, meaning that there is access for anyone that qualifies for the apprenticeship program, then they can access it. Quality and safety is a priority. We don't want to put the apprentices at any kind of risk that is unnecessary, and that they are definitely prepared for it. And then credentials. So of course, when you complete a U.S. Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program, you get a USDOL certificate at the end, which is a credential. And these are portable credentials because if it's been registered with the Department of Labor, then it is recognized throughout as portable. It can go from state to state. However, sometimes there are other credentials as well that apprenticeship programs can build in as they're going so that apprentices learn as they're going and receive credentials along the way. So these are all, when you're putting a registered apprenticeship program together and you're registering with the Department of Labor, you're going to, you're going to list all of these that you are building into the program itself. Any questions on a registered apprenticeship program? Probably most of you here could be giving a class on registered apprenticeship programs. All right, pre-apprenticeship programs. So this is the second one that we had talked about. Pre-apprenticeship programs that are funded through this NOFO must meet the definition that is outlined in 1023-23. So the Training Employment Notice 23-23. You can look that up. This this is through the Department of Labor, provides guidelines on what high quality pre-apprenticeship programs are. Again, we will not fund pre-apprenticeship programs. Pardon me. Hold on one second. We will not fund pre-apprenticeship programs that have not been described that they do meet these elements. So they will not be funded also if there is no existing registered apprenticeship program that they can go into. Also, or if the registered apprenticeship program that is developed, it must be developed within the grant period. So you may not have that registered apprenticeship program immediately, but you must demonstrate that you will have it created by the end of the grant period. And please note that before pre-apprentices are enrolled in their programs, the RAP must be in development with at least one employer. Again, this is so important because without an employer, we don't have an apprenticeship program. And finally, career pathways, addressing industry skill needs. Now, again, this comes from the Career Pathway Dictionary. It depends on which one you access, the Career Pathway Dictionary. You might find a different design, but it's the exact same thing. But career pathways, you'll notice on this particular one, apprenticeship is here towards the right. It's in gold. It's almost like the gold standard. But you also see that this is a continuum. This is a work-based learning continuum. And the further you go up the continuum, then the higher engagement level is for the employer. But career pathways, you look up the dictionary definition, the Career Pathways Dictionary to find the definition. It gives quite a few different elements and spells it out for you. It's really good. But again, it's just a combination of rigorous, high-quality education, training, and other services that align vertically and horizontally across secondary education, adult education, workforce training development, career and technical education, and post-secondary education systems. I encourage you to look it up and use the verbiage to describe your program just for consistency so that we can understand and realize what you're doing and see where we are on the work-based learning spectrum or continuum for your programs, especially if they're not registered apprenticeship, if they're career pathways, or if they're pre-apprenticeship. The Illinois Career Pathways Dictionary can really provide you with a lot of information on how to describe your programs. The performance measures what we're looking at for the grant to produce. So looking at the total number of participants recruited during the grant period, total number of participants enrolled, total number of participants placed in a registered apprenticeship program, number of participants that transition from a pre-apprenticeship program to a registered apprenticeship program, number of that are enrolled in a pre-apprenticeship, perhaps I should switch those two, and number enrolled in a career pathway. Now, when you're putting together your application, that we ask that you tell us how many you plan to do for each of these. And during the grant period, as you do your reporting, then it'll be a constant, we can constantly see the plan versus actual. I know with most of our apprenticeship expansion grants, the state apprenticeship expansion grants that we have out, so many of our grantees have surpassed what they planned. And it's almost impossible to understand how many you will have, but it gives us a good idea of cost efficiency. When you're asking for a certain amount of money, then we also see how many people you're planning to actually serve, and provides us with a good understanding of where you think your program's going. So we ask that you give this some good thought. Now, about the funding source. The funding source is ComEd under the different acts, the Illinois Power Agency Act and the Illinois Public Utilities Act. This will not exceed $3 million. So the award range is, up to $3 million, and it'll be one grantee. There are no matching requirements. Pre-award costs may be allowed. Indirect is allowed, and there are funding restrictions that are outlined in the NOFO itself. This NOFO has its own webpage. Now, of course, you can find the NOFO and all of the materials on DCO's grant page, but you can also find it on Illinois WorkNet. Give some background. On this page, you will also find all of the application materials that you need. In fact, I'm going to share this website. I have it up here. Antonio, can you see that I'm sharing the website?
Yep, that looks right.
Okay, thank you. So, it's got a pretty big URL, FEJA Craft Apprenticeship Program NOFO from Illinois WorkNet. But if you also just Google Illinois 2025 FEJA Craft Apprenticeship Program NOFO, you can eventually get to this page. This provides the background. Here, let me see if I can blow it up a little. Provides the background. Here are all your materials. So the NOFO itself, NOFO Supplement FEJA Craft Apprenticeship, that's the NOFO itself. You have the project work plan. Here, so let me bring up the NOFO itself. So the NOFO itself, encourage you to read through every aspect of this. The project work plan, this is actually an Excel spreadsheet with attachments. So we ask that you complete each one of the attachments in the Excel. Now, when you submit this and when you upload your application, please do not save the Excel spreadsheet as a PDF, because therefore we won't be able to read it. So just please upload it as an Excel spreadsheet. In fact, let me go to that right now. Oh, I have it open somewhere. There we go. Sorry, guys. Here, let's see. Here's the work plan. So as you see, it's an Excel spreadsheet. We have Attachment 1, which you just give your general information and a project summary. Go to the next tab is attachment 2, and you tell us where your planned participants are. And this one is actually longer than what we have in there. I think we have or maybe I brought up an incorrect one. No, it says FEJA craft. All right, we're going to have to, I'm glad it did this during here. We're going to have to reconcile what we have on the website versus what we've supplied for you. Whoops, sorry. Let me go one more time back here. And so we have the formatted grant technical proposal. This technical proposal is set up for you already, asking you the question. So the question will be there, and then you use the space, and the box will open up. It's actually kind of in a table, and you answer each of the questions. This way you won't miss any of the questions. And when we go through the merit review process, they're aligned directly with how you're going to be graded. You also have the budget template in here, uniform grant application, mandatory disclosure, conflict of interest. So again, this website has a lot of information for you and additional resources if needed. Career Pathways Dictionary, things of that nature. Go back to the PowerPoint. Oh, yeah. And so here's a list of what we're asking for you from when you submit your application. And please ensure that you do submit the uniform grant application, the budget, all of the disclosures. Do not forget to include the grant technical proposal or the project work plan. We're also asking that for resumes. So you're going to be in the project work plan. You'll talk about your staffing plan. Those key staff people, we would like to see their resume. So please upload those as well. We have seen in the past for those positions that are key that you have not hired yet, and it says that you will be hiring, well, then they've put a job description also instead of since you don't have a resume of the person, they've put a job description. So I encourage you to cover all your bases as much as possible to let us know what your plan is. And then, of course, upload your MOUs and partnership agreements. You will submit your application on a smart sheet. So here is the URL. It's in the NOFO as well. It's also on the website. And they are due by midnight, before midnight on Monday, May 5th, 2025, not 202. So Cinco de Mayo. So you must demonstrate that you meet all the requirements. So please ensure that you're answering each of those questions. So in the technical proposal, because the technical proposal follows these 4 big categories, the applicant capacity, it has quite a few questions on that, and you get 30, your answers are weighted 30% on applicant capacity. Documentation of need is the next section, and again, several questions there, 20% for that. Quality of project plan, that is the 3rd section, and quite a few questions there. So please ensure that you're giving us the full story and giving us the detail that we need to understand your project. Since there is one applicant chosen and it is $3 million. And then, of course, budget narrative, cost efficiency, return on investment is 10%. So you're going to let us know how it's kind of like you're letting us know how that money is being spent. Please do a good job there letting us know. Oh, I see there's a question. It's a long question, so I'm going to come right back to that here in a second. So it's anticipated that we'll do one award for up to $3 million, that the award will be made before June 30th, 2025. And the grant performance period is expected to be awarded for 24 months with one 12-month renewal option. And the grant manager is Chase Martin. There's also a help desk. You can email either of these people. All right, so before we get on to the technical grant requirements, it looks like I'll try to answer. Let me see this question and see if I can answer it. Um, we are determining if we're eligible to apply as a lead applicant, but are unsure. If you are headquartered outside of the state of Illinois, but work with 10 plus training centers throughout Illinois, and the project would take place 100% in Illinois, are we eligible to apply as lead applicant? Earlier in the presentation, you stated organizations can apply that have a direct connection to the electric industry in Illinois. We understand our pre-qualification status would need to be approved, which would include SAM registration, EIN registering. That is a fantastic question. You know what? And this is from Brooke Watkins. Brooke, I'm going to have to get back with you, and we will put this on the FAQ on the website. We said yes to this question for our state apprenticeship formula funds, our NOFO, or actually it was the state apprenticeship expansion NOFO, notice of funding opportunity that we just closed. We did say yes, that even if you're outside Illinois, as long as you are working 100% with Illinois employers and you are serving Illinois residents, that was fine. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case here. So let me just, we will take this down and we will get this answered on the FAQ. So thank you for that. All right, so now, oh, here, looks like we have another question here. Okay, yes. Oh, the FA, you know what? That's a great question of when it'll be listed. Brooke, also, if you will put your email in this, we'll have your email so that we can ensure that that is answered on the FAQ and to you as soon as possible. So just in case there's a little bit of time lapse. Thank you. Now, of course, everyone who submits a grant with any state of Illinois agency is subject to the Illinois Grant Accountability and Transparency Act. So it is my duty to talk to you about the Grant Accountability and Transparency Act. This is to increase accountability and transparency in the use of grant funds. It does reduce administrative burden on both the state agencies as well as the grantees. And by passing this act, we adopted federal grant guidance and regulations. For those of you who have never submitted a grant before, I give you the sage advice to get started now with the pre-award requirements. But some of these grant award requirements can be completed before the actual award, but some need to be completed before you even apply. So just like Brooke mentioned in here before, that you would still have to determine, have to get pre-qualification status, which includes SAM registration, EIN, all of that. If you have not done that, get started now. So you need to be registered, you need to be pre-qualified. You will have to go through a financial administrative risk assessment, a programmatic risk assessment, and then you will have to do mandatory disclosures and conflict of interest documents. The website is listed here. It's grants.illinois.gov. Under the Grants Links tab is the entry point into that GATA portal. So that's where you're going to have authentication, registration, pre-qualification, and fiscal and administrative risk assessment. Again, get started now. There's also a centralized indirect cost rate system that will be used to elect the indirect cost rate option. Grantees that are not current users in the systems will receive an invitation to the central indirect cost rate system once a notice of state award is generated. All grantees must be registered with the state of Illinois using the illinois.gov authentication portal. This is really important, even though we said this just recently in our state apprenticeship expansion NOFO. We had quite a few applicants that were not registered. And so those applications were automatically thrown out. So please get registered with the state of Illinois. Grantee registration is completed by browsing to the grants.illinois.gov/portal and associating your illinois.gov account with your organization. Completing the registration process triggers the grantee pre-qualification verifications. So that those pre-qualification verification includes a valid UEI number, a current SAM.gov account. You need to be in good standing with the Secretary of State. And you cannot be on any federal excluded parties list, cannot be on any Illinois stop payment list, and not on the DHFS provider sanction list. Pre-qualification is dynamic and verifications are completed nightly. So you don't have to wait. It's done nightly. The uniform budget template. Everyone will have to submit a uniform budget template. Remember, in the technical proposal, you will have a budget narrative, but you still have to complete the template. This is an Excel spreadsheet. And from here, you'll show what the different costs are. And there's many different tabs. So take your time to review that and understand that. Again, if you have any questions, the grant manager is Chase Martin. You must use the State of Illinois Grants Uniform Budget Template, basic budget line item definitions based on the Uniform Administrative Guidelines, and then general requirements, like any of the State of Illinois grants, they've got to be allowable, reasonable, and allocable. Direct cost. These are costs that can be identified specifically with a particular final cost objective. So you're going to have direct cost and indirect cost. So we did say indirect costs are allowed on this NOFO. So indirect costs are costs incurred for a common or joint purpose benefiting more than one cost objective and not readily assignable to the cost objectives. But again, want to go back to any of the costs that you put, whether direct and indirect, that they be allowable, reasonable, and allocable. And then I think that, yeah, this is it. So here we have tons of resources. This webinar is being recorded. It's going to be on that website, on the Illinois WorkNet webpage. This presentation will be on there as well, so you can access these. I believe these links are already on that web page as well. And with that, we're going to see if there's any questions. And I see that more have come, so I'm going to stop sharing here and go to the Q&A. Let's see. So Jason, it says, will SMR, nuclear, hydrogen, and carbon capture for energy production be considered for this grant? Jason, that is a fantastic question, which I do not know the answer. So let's, what I'm going to say again is that we will get this on the FAQ, but also if you would put your email address in here, we could then make sure that we get that answer to you as we also post it to the FAQ. Are there any other questions? And feel free to, I don't know, can they come off mute?
Yeah, anybody can come off mute. If you raise your hand, I can unmute you.
This is oh, good, Brooke. Yes.
All right, Brooke, you should be able to talk.
Awesome. Just wanted to say thank you so much for responding to our question in the Q&A, and we really look forward to the FAQ.
Yes. I appreciate you all's interest. We're looking for a great application to fund. If there are no more questions, then we'll end it now. I sincerely appreciate your interest. We look forward to seeing your applications. Again, we're going to get right on those questions and get those answered. It's 1:40 p.m. here in Illinois, so it may be Monday before we have the answers out to you all. But thank you. We appreciate it. And anybody else that has any questions, I'm still here if you'd like to ask.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.